What's up, and welcome back to another episode of Ramblings in the Basement. So, your boy Theory.
It's your homie Ego.
Rojas.
Jonas.
Yes.
I don't have a cool name. Just Jonas.
Nah, Jonas
That's our
is dope.
special guest,
dope.
man. That's cool. I mean, that's your name in and of itself is already unique.
Thank you,
honest.
man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
So you don't need to have like a special nickname.
Goes.
Jonas already sounds like a rapper.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's already a nice name.
Oh, man.
But
Jonas on the trail.
you want to like have a specific thing you wanted to like introduce or like start off with?
Yeah, I mean, today I was just kind of I was kind of pondering as to what we could pick for a topic today, and the thing that crossed my mind was maturity. And
It's like maturing ourselves.
yeah, like, well, how we've matured and how we're still maturing, because I can guarantee you, even as grown adult men,
Oh yeah, for sure. Like we're always growing.
we still have yet to mature. And
Nah, for
things, you
sure,
know.
for sure. Like not to put like my grandpa out on blast, but like even now, my grandpa was just barely recently. I feel like last year, 2 years ago now, he was barely learning how to deal with anxiety. To be honest, remember he was having like those anxiety attacks.
Oh yeah.
So it's like even in your old age, you're still learning new things. Like he was barely learning how to cope with anxiety because he's never dealt with it like that.
Also, he hasn't dealt with that?
Not like
No.
that. Not like that.
Not to
Like,
that
he was
point,
having like
'cause it was
panic
like-
attacks, and
he was like,
he would
was
think he's
crazy.
dying, and like he just have panic attacks.
he's
I
like,
mean,
I'm dying. But like, it's because he's having a severe panic attack, anxiety.
I mean, to add to that, without veering off too much at the topic, is, in the Hispanic, / Latino culture, we don't talk about depression, anxiety,
Mental health doesn't
yeah.
exist.
or
in
mental
Hispanic.
health.
really-
Like,
really do not.
yeah, like, if you like, if I would have ever told my dad, like, like when I used to go to work with him at a construction site, if I ever told him, like, I just feel like very anxious right now, it's like,
So what the fuck does
it's
that
like
mean? They
I
don't
don't
even
I don't
understand
get
what
it.
it means.
He'll be like, ponte las pinches pilas y
Oh my god, I knew he was gonna say that shit, yo. I was waiting for it. I was fucking waiting for it.
Like, what does it mean? They're like, what do you mean?
Ponte las pinches pilas y mueve ese paquete de 2x4 y lo mueves allá. And it's like, the reason why I would get anxiety in those moments is because he'd use terms like 2x4. And it's like, I don't know what 2x4 are. Like, I see 3 different piles of wood over there. Which one of them are 2x4? And
You gotta learn. You gotta
They
learn.
didn't teach you what it is.
They didn't
basically.
teach. They just tell you, like,
Yeah.
They're just like expecting you to know what it is.
boom, move those and put them over there. And it's
which
like,
one are those?
anxiety kicks
Exactly.
in because
Yeah.
you feel scared to
To
go
pick the
back
wrong
to
one.
go back to
Yes.
I think
to
all
go-
of us can
Because they
relate
get
with
mad if you
that.
ask.
thing,
You're like,
yo.
you don't know what it is?
yeah to either.
It's like, what is that?
Make
You're
you
like,
feel like
you don't
makes
know?
you feel excited, bro.
You're just like, you're
I'm
supposed to know
I
this
didn't-
shit.
I'm sorry, I haven't been doing this for fucking 10+ years, Dad. I'm fucking
For
13
real.
years old.
Bro, I feel that.
Bro, I remember when I would like be
I know.
a young
I barely
man.
know what
Back
jacking
then.
off is right now. I don't know what a 2x4 is.
I'd be a young man, and my dad would call me over to the office that he used to have, and he'd be like, "Digo, ven aquí," and then I'd be like, "Oh, no."
Sorry,
And like,
no.
bro, I got
I
instant
felt that.
anxiety.
Yeah, I felt that.
Instant anxiety. And then he'd be like, a ver, dime, ¿qué es 8x4? Meaning, what's 8 times 4? And then I'd be like, he's like, no sabes que putas es 4x8? Like, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, and then I'd just start
Pressure.
crying.
I get so angry.
My mom would be like, why are you yelling at him
Yeah.
like that? Like,
Bro,
but like,
I
that's
hate-
traumatic, yo.
Bro,
Like,
that's why I hated going to work with my dad sometimes. Because when I was like little, he'd be like, I didn't even know like half the shit, like how to do half the shit, and then he just randomly like, "Yo, I need cement. Go mix me some cement." I'm like, "What the fuck? How
do
the
I
fuck
do
did you do
that?"
that?"
for
I
real.
was, like, I was a little kid. I was like, "How the
Yeah.
fuck do you do that
But
shit?"
like, now growing up,
He's
it's
like, "You just do like this, and that."
when you start going more though,
Right.
and you grow up, it's like you notice, and it's like, okay, now I know what un 2x4 is. Now I know que es un,
But, yeah.
un plywood.
I mean, of course.
But that round like loops back around to like maturing,
Maturing,
because
you
that's our
learn.
parents still learning. Like they don't know how to teach. So they're still learning. Like they have to actually teach you shit. They just say shit.
They're just
know
teaching
it.
how they knew.
Yeah, because they already know what it is, and they just expect you to know. It's like,
that
It's like, you're my kid. You should know this shit.
right? It's like you never taught me though.
you came
This-
out of me.
This
You
data
should
was
know
encrypted
so
in your
much.
genes.
Data was already. That came preloaded. What do you mean?
Exactly.
There's a preload game in this bitch. Where the fuck did it go? I did not.
You would have thought they just loaded up the game and was like, continue with the story mission that I already left off last night. It's like, no, man. But and like you said, I mean, they also learn too. Like,
That's what's up. You have to you can't hold it against them because they don't know that they're fucking up. They just in their mind they're like, you gotta learn, you gotta know this shit.
They're teaching you how they got to.
Right, exactly. They're just teaching you like this is the shit you gotta know, learn it.
It's general trauma, generation trauma, basically.
Yeah.
And then it's fucked up because, sometimes your mom just be watching and they don't really know what to do either because they were just taught to shut the fuck up while your dad's there screaming at you and shit.
literally, bless you.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Bless
literally
you.
what it was because, even with the women and in Hispanic, Latino culture, like it's now just barely changing.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
now,
it is.
it's now just barely changing, but it's like as fucked up as it sounds. Women were like, like now, now some women work. It's not based like the norm of you're gonna be taken care of for the rest of your life isn't too much there anymore as it used to be. But
Yeah.
along with you being taken care of, you're not expected to really give your opinion on things that you know
Yeah.
nothing about. Like that's how it was. It's like, tú no sabes de esto. Don't give me your opinion.
Butt out.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I'm teaching my son something you don't know anything of. This is father and son. This isn't mother and son.
Yeah.
And that's why most of the time moms would just not say anything because that's just how they were taught and how they were raised. Where it's like, you're gonna find a man and you're gonna be taken care of, but you're gonna have to cater to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to some level, yes, that's true. It's like, if you're being taken care of, your bills are taken care of. Your husband pretty much taking
But you
care
have
of
no
you.
opinion, basically.
Doesn't mean you don't have to have an
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's
It
different.
doesn't
Yeah,
mean you
that's
can't
different.
chime into raising your son, or if you see your if you see your husband maybe doing something wrong and not teaching the correct way, you should butt in. You should be allowed to.
You're a parent.
You should be allowed to talk to your husband.
Well, like you said, nowadays it's a lot more different now because now women are they're
more
half
independent.
of the income, or they're more in the income, like they're providing more of the income, or like just a bit less. You know what I'm saying? But then again, they're out there making their bread. You know what I'm saying? So like now they're doing the same
They
thing.
definitely making calls now.
You know
It's
what
my
I'm
money
saying?
too
Yeah.
now. She said, it's my money too. I'm definitely making these
Exactly.
calls.
It's that the gloves are on.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I was tired of being in that corner now. I'm facing your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's like,
Now the husband says something and they'll smack the shit out of the husband.
What'd you say? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Nah. But I'm going too far. You know what I'm saying? But
No, but I mean, it kind of ties into what we're talking about right now, where it's like back then, if somebody's daughter was getting hit by her man and they were married, it was as bad as it sounds. It was kind of like if people saw it, it's like, oh, it's none of my business. Who knows what she said to make him hit her?
yeah, facts.
Exactly.
And that was never good. And that goes
But
back.
that goes both ways.
And that goes, that goes
Goes both ways.
goes both ways now. But I'm saying like that ties back into just how it used to be, where it's like you're being taken care of, you're there, then that's it. You're just there to be there
They're to take
and to
it.
cater to him, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you step out of line and he hits you, you
That's
deserve
that's
it.
like the strictly traditional.
Yeah, that was
That's the
fucked.
strict,
That was pretty fucked.
and it sucks. But I mean, I'm glad things are changing now.
Yeah.
But along with things changing now,
Everything's different now.
everything's different, and now you're seeing
Now they want to
grown men.
they want to flip it, and they're basically they want a gentleman, but yet they don't want to be like a traditional girl.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask you guys a
They want the
question?
best of both
Let me
worlds.
ask you guys a question.
Because I think because the women could have back in the day they would cater to a guy and do that and do everything they want as long as
But
he's
the
a
guy will take
gentleman.
care of her, and he'll do all that shit. Like he'll do all this shit for her.
Yeah, do
Take care
everything
of
for her
bills
to
and
take
shit.
care of her. Like actually wants to do that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
For
what
sure.
that's what.
Hey,
they
but
were
real
trying to
quick.
happen. And now it's the other way around. They're trying to like ladies are trying to just do whatever and find a gentleman. A guy should be a gentleman. This and that. It's just
Yeah,
like
he gotta take care of me.
But
He still gotta
you still-
he still gotta be traditional.
But-
But I don't gotta be traditional.
no, but like in the same way, like girls have to be more traditional. Be like, what's it called?
Damn, I'm slamming doors.
Be knowing how to cook and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like girls nowadays don't really know how to cook. Well, some of them at least, because there are women that were taught and are growing up with their mom that actually have that connection type like
Yeah.
to get taught or have the caring to learn.
Uh,
Because home food is always the best.
Hey, but let me ask you guys a question real quick. Going back to what you were saying about the dad with the let me have this time with my son because this is father son time type thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that discipline.
never had
Like, do you guys think that was a better way to raise the kids before than like the more lenient style now where it's just kind of like, oh, like I can't, like it's not like the father's influence isn't as strong as it used to be. I feel
It's
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know. Yeah, I think I
Well,
understand
yeah.
what you're saying, and I think with raising children, it's not as black and white or as simple as people like to think it is.
Mm.
It's very complex,
You don't know what you can talk.
because you could take one child, right? Like let's call him child B, raise him child A actually, and then
we're starting with B.
let's start. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why I said B first.
Where's A? What the fuck?
No, never mind. I was gonna make a dark joke.
You're,
Never mind.
you're
about to say
forgetting.
that.
You're
I'm about to say
forgetting the
something,
alphabet,
so-
buddy. So let's call it child A, right? Child A gets raised strict, right?
Yep.
And he grows up to not hate his parents, though, even though he was raised super strict.
And kind of abused a
Child-
little bit.
Where it's like if you stepped out of line, you're gonna get either you're gonna get
smacked or verbally abused.
Yeah, verbally abused.
Something.
But but that child A still loves their parents even after they're grown and married. They still love their parents to the fullest.
Because they know they
Where-
did something they're not supposed to.
Where child B maybe didn't grow up with
The strictness of like
the strictness,
basically like maybe they
or
just
getting
get yelled
spanked.
at.
Yeah.
Getting yelled at.
Like
but not
his thing
getting
was
hit.
timeout, like
The
for
hitting-
3
the hitting-
minutes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then he grows up and he hates his parents. It's like,
Yeah.
how does it make sense? But you could take that same child, put him in that category where child A was, pretty much switch swap him, and maybe the child just still comes out the same way. Unfortunately,
Actually, I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day while I was driving. I noticed there's low-key like a
pattern?
somewhat of a correlation between like having respect for someone and fearing them. Like you have to have like a certain level of fear to respect someone, and that's why the first child respects their parents because they know if they fuck up, there's gonna be something.
The consequences.
But you learn from that, and then as you grow older, you're like, okay, there's reasons behind this shit.
yeah.
Whereas the second child, they don't know that. So it's like, I feel
And
like they don't
think
respect their
and they
parents
think
as
they
much.
can step all over their parents
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't respect
and do whatever
their
the fuck
parents.
they want. Yeah, I guess that actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. There's just something that about the strict parenting that I mean, in a way, like you look at
It
us,
can't be too strict.
like we
Depending.
probably grew up with strict parents, and I mean, you look at us and we didn't turn that out that bad. But then again, we also have a lot of mental trauma and a whole bunch of other shit that we may or may not have, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes a lot of those things lead, like, yeah, you know what? I love them, but then again, like, I'm kind of like fucked up now, you know?
But I would say I feel like and I can't talk for everyone's experience.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like personally with like my parents, it's not because they were strict that they put me through shit. I feel like it's just because they themselves didn't know shit. It's not because I feel like I don't blame them. I don't blame the fact that they were strict for
Yeah,
putting
you
me
shouldn't
through that
blame
shit.
them.
I feel like it's the fact
like
that
they
they
were
themselves
still
didn't
learning
know.
as parents.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know how to parent. It's like nobody teaches you how to parent.
Well,
like
sometimes you do have to blame them a little bit, though. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah,
You got to
well,
hold them accountable for some things.
that. Well, when you
Yeah.
know it's like
in
their
some
fault.
aspects, yes.
Because in a way, you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. You were just a kid, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
See, but and I
That's what I'm
see,
saying. If they-
you're right.
certain
if it's-
situations,
You're right in
Yeah.
that aspect, but I feel like it depends on which category that parent goes to the extreme.
yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Where
saying.
it's like
They can be
situation
going heavy
depends.
beating, and then that's just like you don't want that shit. Then that's gonna be more traumatizing than it is. But if it's like something like a regular beating, getting your time, like it's different. Like how you said, like there's different type of beating. There's some people that get horrible beatings.
Yeah, nah,
and
for
they're like
sure, like-
that's what they hate.
Nah, for
and
sure.
then yeah, it's like
It's not even fear. Just like you just don't respect them anymore.
you know,
type
like
shit.
I've been hit with like
That's the worst.
like a cord before. You know, right?
Yeah,
It's just
sure.
like it feels like a whip. And it's like to me that's like one of the worst things that I've really gone through. But then there's people that it's like, or just even like the real extreme cases where you hear these children being abused by their parents because they're not even feeding their children. Like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
locking them in a confined space and not even like
Yeah.
that shit's extreme.
That's
Yeah.
That's extreme. That's
Yeah.
their parent is probably psycho.
and the shit like
That's
That's Gabriel Iglesias type.
Yeah.
No, not
Boom.
Gabriel. What
That's
the hell's his
exact-
name?
yeah.
No, that's his, Gabriel.
That-
no, that's not
no,
his name.
it's
Gabriel
Gabriel
Iglesias.
something. No, the first
Gabriel
name.
Iglesias.
Gabriel
I'm like, that's fluffy, bro.
Fluffy.
Damn. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I was
His
like, I
name
didn't know
is
that.
Gabriel something.
No, it is Gabriel something. But yeah, like in that case, like
that was
his-
too extreme. I think
his mom was like.
those are
letting-
rare
was-
cases.
yeah, his mom was like
That's
letting her boyfriend like mistreat that child. Like he had cigarette burns on his skin. Like
For me, it's like, oh, what the fuck?
yeah,
That's like that one.
How
That
dare you
one
fucking
case
yell,
that,
like,
that Kim
shoot me.
Kardashian was protesting. Y'all heard that one? Where it's like a baby that got like. It was like a baby. Apparently, it was like a baby that got like really beaten. Right?
A baby?
I think it was like
I
a
think
baby
I
or
heard about
toddler,
that.
right?
I think
What the
yeah.
fuck?
And yeah, and they got like really beaten and had like bruises everywhere and shit. And I think they had like parts of their hair yanked out and shit. It was like really fucked up.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy that did the
baby-
did
the
autopsy.
baby lived, right?
They got, no, their baby dead. Baby's
Baby
dead.
dead.
Baby's dead.
Damn,
The guy that
bro.
did the autopsy said like that was the worst case of like child abuse he's ever seen. And of course they try to like say that the baby fell down the stairs because that's the old excuse that apparently every abuser uses.
The baby fell
He
down,
fell
the stairs. Oh, and then
Oh,
what?
that's how,
Pieces-
that's how their hair fell out.
yeah, because he fell down the stairs.
And then they'd be like, I try to grab him.
So I tried to catch him.
It's
Right
like,
grab
hair.
I try to grab him by the hair and it
Oh,
rips
no.
out. That's why I have it right here.
Ah, man, that's fucked up.
It's
That's
crazy.
fucked, bro.
But-
Like if at that case it's like if you're gonna be doing that to a like born baby, why didn't at that point why not like
Just put it up for adoption. Like someone
Put
else will
adoption,
find them.
exactly.
to pull it, full circle.
oh yeah
here.
pull it before
To-
or
to-
why'd you
to-
even get yourself in that situation?
To make the full circle here on the topic, like I feel like maybe those parents weren't fully matured. Like
Yeah,
they
for
never,
sure, for
like
sure.
they
Well,
never,
then again,
ready
they-
for
They just had
But-
mental
but-
issues, bro.
Or-
yeah, because they never
They had mental
Maybe
issues.
because they
either-
were abused
That's
that
what it
bad.
is.
But
they-
the thing is,
Yeah.
like with
traumatized, yeah.
with maturity, you can notice, like with maturity, you start noticing maybe the way I think
I feel like maturity is
isn't
more
cor-
self
isn't
awareness.
correct.
Exactly. You gotta start
Yeah.
thinking differently.
And that's because you can. I'm not saying you can't have mental illnesses or mental issues, but I feel like
Learn how to cope with it.
there should be some kind of like turning lock where it's
Some
like
control.
where it's like you notice it, or
Yeah,
self or
exactly.
self awareness, like
It's
you said,
like, yeah,
where it's like I think I need to go seek help
yeah, for sure.
before I do something bad, whether it's physical or I verbally abuse somebody that I love very near and dear to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
basically
that's mature. I think that's maturity, is knowing when
being self aware.
Yeah.
being self aware and knowing, hey, I think I need help. Let me go
Like-
seek that.
Yo, I like basically like looking back at what just happened and like replaying what you did, and then you're like, oh shit, I did go out of line here, so it's my fault. Let me go out of line. But if you want to skip that and be like, oh nah, but I said this and this and this is what happened. So what the fuck should I? Why would I apologize?
Yeah, like
But then you really being self aware is more like you know what you said, but then again you acknowledge what they say, and their point of view as well.
Yeah,
To really
for sure.
understand.
Sometimes when it comes to maturity, I feel like I don't know. There be moments where like I get like in this like decision type thing where I just feel I have to make this decision as to like if let's say I'm like talking to somebody and they're I feel like saying something because they said something to me,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like just thinking, okay, is maturity telling them what the fuck I'm feeling and thinking,
I
and
know what you're
like
thinking.
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I
is
feel that
it
too, I feel.
shutting the fuck up
Yeah.
and just kind of like trying to keep the peace?
It's like taking a moment to like reflect, and it's like what should
What
I
is
do?
what is maturity there
Yeah.
though? That's what I'm kind of like asking
Like,
in the way.
taking a minute to like
Process it.
don't I mean I feel like if someone says some shit, it's like it depends what it is, but like as long as it's not a threat, they're just words. It's like they could talk shit all they want, but it's like let them. It's like, it doesn't matter.
That's why at the end of the day, you end up processing that. Maybe on a long drive back home, you start thinking what happened at the party, and then you start seeing who's really fucking up and who's real,
Yeah, it's like
and all that aspect.
yeah. As soon as people,
Because if you start shit and start talking out of pocket, then what if you're
just
the one
escalating
making the
at that
scene?
point.
What if you're the one actually making the scene when nothing was really down?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
There's something
because
that I
some
was
different
hearing about
perspectives
it
kinda crazy on
from
that
this
shit.
Machiavellian quote. It was from Machiavelli, and he was saying, do with I don't know. It was something about doing something first and then regretting it later. Better said,
yeah.
react first and then regret later, kind of thing.
No, well, that's why would you want to
Yeah.
regret it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can avoid that.
That's why you don't.
But I'm saying
Some people can process it quicker to a point that they're like, oh, this nigga just fucked up, and then you react, but like depending on how, I feel like it's more choosing how you react.
Yeah,
Like you
can-
listen to shit, but it's the way you gotta react. It's
well, I
like you
feel
have
like
options.
it really does
but
depend, like each situation too. Like it depends, like what they said,
Mhm.
But like for the most part, it's like if they're talking shit, like they like saying like talking shit about you, it's like all you could really do.
what are
is-
these like your so-called friends or just people?
Then
Then
you
all-
know,
then-
then
then
that's
cut
what I'm
them
trying
out.
to say.
Cut them out.
Exactly.
If you know they're not worth your time and they're just toxic and then you don't need them in your circle. You just cut them out.
Well, yeah.
exactly.
So you don't need a. At the end of the day, it's like. you
And
don't
then maybe
need
just to
hang
cut them out, and then if you realize the people you cut out wasn't it, you gotta go back and
Yeah.
just be a bigger person and realize what happened and shit.
I mean,
Well, let's go back to the
it's-
incident.
Sometimes there's people that can make that mistake and cut out wrong people that they think it was a certain way, but were actually cool. And then
Yeah.
as long as you realize that and apologize, sometimes that person's willing to take it back.
Well, that's what I'm
As
saying.
long
It
as you
depends.
know.
It depends the situation. Because I'm saying, like, if it's like someone that's constantly being toxic, it's like you just gotta take them out, like, or at least take a break from them. You know, to be like, you gotta stop hanging out for a bit.
It's I mean it goes back to self-awareness, and like because as you grow up you have to be more self-aware, because not in every situation that happens in your life you're not always gonna be right, and that comes with self-awareness.
Like, yeah, and then
Because
you
then
make
people-
mistakes.
People
Not everybody's
cut-
perfect.
People will cut off somebody in their life because that person thinks they're completely right, and it's like, nah, I'm cutting you off because you're wrong. And it's like, and then that person could not be self-aware that they were actually the one in the wrong, and then you just cut off somebody out of your life that could have been very good to you
Yeah.
over something that
was so
over
small.
something petty,
Yeah.
but you feel so strongly about, and you think you're right. Like that's something I personally had to battle with, especially
Nah,
like
for sure.
in my relationship. It's like self-awareness. I'm not always fucking right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes you
have to
like
be
you
able
think
to-
at the moment you're probably like, because that's how I feel. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, you know what, I got the point, but then you're like, oh shit, like
Well,
never
honestly,
mind, I fucked up.
what helps me
That's-
like when in those situations is like take like a third person perspective of it. Be like, like in your mind, I guess, visualize like the situation as if you were like someone
Yeah,
else watching.
you play it back. Like put yourself in
Yeah.
their shoes. 'Cause
Or,
that's
yeah, or you
basically
put
what that's
yourself
what
in
you're
their
doing.
shoes
That's what
and,
you're
like, really-
doing. Like you're putting yourself in their shoes, so you can hear both the conversations in a way.
Yeah, because
And then you're like, oh shit, I fucked up on saying that.
'Cause-
But then she
yeah.
said this. But then in reality, she only said that because what you said first as defense. You know, like
It's like
maybe you attack.
Yeah. It's like what we
everybody's
talked
gonna
about.
defend.
Yeah, it's like what we talked about after the last week's podcast. When we were having the conversation afterwards, where you're saying like you like having like a third person sometimes, like when you're arguing, because like sometimes a third person could really like
Yeah, there's someone out there.
Add
like,
some
but like,
perspective
add
to the
perspective,
situation.
and really
Exactly,
they can
yes.
like de-escalate a lot of the times.
Oh, 100%.
exactly.
So it's like you gotta try to put yourself in their perspective.
So
Sure.
one thing I did, and I may be oversharing here, but like me and Jen did go to therapy at one point because
that's good though.
because we needed to get a
you guys
third,
both agreed
we
to it.
needed a third perspective.
That's good. That's
and
really good.
that third perspective helped us a lot. And it's like we don't go to, and I'm not saying because we only went to one session together.
but that
One session was enough for me to like fully understand, like, bro, you're not always gonna be right. Like, you have to
But-
put yourself in Jen's shoes and see shit from her perspective, and then process it, so then you know what you did wrong, or let's say even you didn't do something wrong, but it just made her upset.
It seemed wrong in her eyes.
It seemed
maybe.
wrong to her
Yeah.
eyes, but you can't describe anything. You can't explain yourself without understanding the other person and knowing why they thought
Yeah.
it was wrong.
More,
feel
more,
you.
more than anything, it's about like explaining yourself.
Yeah, because
Just
you can't just
communicate.
assume that you're wrong. I mean that you're right, and then be like, "Oh, they're wrong," and then not even trying to see it their way. It's like
Exactly.
you can't do that.
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
You gotta.
For sure.
selfish.
That's a
It's
that's a
very
sign of
selfish.
sign of
Selfish.
maturing though, because I feel like a
That is
thing
mature. That was a good.
if you're
that
gonna
is
have a
maturity
third
right
person
there.
perspective,
'Cause-
you both parties have to be willing to listen to the third party. Because like I've seen some situations where it's like people have a third like party perspective,
but the other person doesn't
but
want
they
to.
feel like they're being attacked
Their
by
ego.
both people.
Because
Like,
that person's probably being
Yeah,
biased.
yeah, exactly. Because like they're the ones that are in the wrong sometimes, but they don't want to admit it, so they think they're being attacked.
Because of the
Yeah,
ego.
like,
And
one
they start
thing-
getting defensive. And it's like, no, maybe you were just in the wrong in this situation.
With like, whether it be like a friendship or actual relationship between whoever, right? You can't go seeking a third perspective from somebody that
They can't be
you know
biased.
is gonna be on your side.
Yeah, they can't be biased
Exactly.
either.
Because then you're
Yeah.
not gonna get
Yeah.
that third
You
perspective.
gotta get
You're just getting that.
Facts.
You're getting the same perspective that you already
100%.
saw.
I agree with
They
that
can't-
shit.
they gotta be
I agree.
unbiased.
You know, that's
100%
like
agree.
that's like me getting in a fight with Jen over something, and then me instead of going to maybe
There's a friend that's like that. Both your friends, but like one of you has been friends with them longer. So it's just
exactly.
like
That person's not purposely gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I'm for sure on your side,"
Yeah.
but it's gonna because it just happens. You know, that person probably gonna like be biased
Or
towards you,
just
but
feel
not on
awkward.
purpose.
I'll tell you
Nah,
one
for
thing.
sure.
When I used to be in some relationships,
Actually,
I was like going through things like that, and I'd have to like, I'd felt like I had to call people and then ask them what their perspective was, and like, I knew deep down inside when I called them what I wanted to hear was what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
and then,
But at the end of the day, like, it wasn't right because at the end of it all, after I got the advice, after this, after that, the relationship still went to shit.
Yeah.
It still ended.
I mean, you literally gave a prime example, pretty much, of what I was trying to explain. Because, like you said, you reached out to the person because you knew they were gonna give you what you wanted to
Yeah.
hear,
Exactly.
and but now you realize,
And then they hang
you
up on
realize the
people
flaw that you made,
Of course.
and like.
That's another sign of maturing,
That's
yeah.
a sign of maturing because now you know for your next relationship, you know that if you need a third perspective, you're not gonna go to the person that's gonna give you what you want to hear. You're gonna go to the person
got
that's
you.
gonna tell you the absolute truth.
I got you. Because honestly, I always try to be as objective as possible when it comes to like shit. Just because I feel like the truth is what matters at the end of the day. It's like, I don't know. It just bothers me when people lie. So it's like, it doesn't matter if it's like a little thing. Like, I always want to be the truth. So I always try to be as objective as possible which is So that's that. Yeah, if you guys ever need a third perspective, I got you.
I'm the guy.
I'm gonna call you out. If you're in the wrong, I'm gonna tell you.
Facts.
But yeah, dude, when it comes to relationships, like you were talking about, I've had so many flaws where I just look back on and I'm like,
I could have done.
I cannot believe I did that.
Yeah.
I can't believe I acted like that. I can't believe I said that to them. I can't believe I was I was just so fucked up sometimes and so narcissistic, and I'd consistently gaslight them.
No, but I mean that's straight that you're like
And,
learning. That's why I'm saying like that's why I like to tell people like if they're in the wrong, I feel like they need to know. So like now you know. So it's like you're learning.
But
from
what
it
I'm
and you
saying
get-
is
you
kind of
get
like
better.
I would like it took a long time for me to realize these things though. You know, I'm just trying to like get into like this
But that's
perspective.
maturity, though.
You know, yeah, like there was a time where I
what
thought that I
maturity
like
is.
had the answers to everything because one relationship already it was already a few of them that already fucked up. And I was like, okay, you know what? They fucked up. Now I kind of know what's going on. I know the answers now. I get in another relationship,
Yeah.
completely realize that I do not know the answers yet
Yeah.
because that one is going the same way the first
That's
one
because
went.
each girl it's a different test.
Yeah.
You can't go in it like, oh, I got the answers for the last test. I'm gonna go in this new
Well, I mean, they're all
test. and
different
flawless,
too. Like
you know?
Girl got the
girls are all
answers,
different. It's
right?
not like-
Exactly. You just
They're not all gonna
everything's
like the same
different.
thing.
But like, you know, most of the tests, you know, agree on certain aspects. So then maybe you're always gonna A every time you go play and get to do this.
I mean, it's all just kind of like about
It's crazy.
realizing
Like, it's
how
just- that's how I
different
see
you
it.
can do
Metaphor.
better than the before, you know? Like,
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about like continuously growing. Like you never stop growing.
Mhm.
So it's like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you're just learning. Like
recently,
You
like,
learn
I
from-
had this one girlfriend who was pretty amazing to me, bro. And at the end of the day, like, I thought that this was going to be the time. You know, that this was gonna be the one that worked. And guess what? I still went back to my toxic, gaslighting, narcissistic shit.
You gotta notice
And
when you're doing it though.
I
and
do
call
notice
yourself
when
out
I'm doing
and
it,
just
bro.
stop
But
yourself,
it's sometimes hard to stop it.
It's hard.
And
like,
no,
it's
and
hard to
that's-
stop
that's-
it.
That's the
When
first
you-
step
it's 'cause
is noticing it,
when
and
you
now
bring-
you gotta work
It's
towards
because
it.
sometimes bad habits become a second nature.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the
It's
first
like
step.
walking
is-
to you,
first
you know,
step,
or
first step
breathing.
is catching them.
You know?
It's like you're in your journey to recovery though.
It's
So
like-
that's what matters. It's like
Honestly,
first step is learning how to identify it, and then learning how to curb it. You know,
I feel like bad habits can be like cigarettes.
yeah,
It's easy for some people to stop, but not everybody's
A
can do
cigarette
that.
is a bad habit.
Like, you know, like not everybody can do that. There's some people
Yeah.
who can just go cold turkey and be fine and
Well, everyone
deny
has
it.
to have their own
Or
strategy. I
there's
feel
other
like you
people
can do it,
exactly.
though.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I like to say like cigarettes a good way. Like it can be. It's like basically using like as an example. Like you can make everybody has their own methods. Like you
Yeah.
were saying to quit and stop
not
doing
for
those
sure,
bad
yeah.
habits.
Yeah, because some people do like the patches, and that
Mhm.
works for them. Some people just cut.
But then
quote
patches, I
turkey,
feel like
you
it's not
said.
really taking care of it because if you just keep using it
No,
afterwards.
like they ease off of it. Like
Oh,
for some
oh,
people,
okay,
so-
okay.
like it works for some people. Whereas like they use or they use. The
I heard
vape.
sometimes it's stronger.
Some people use the vape to ease off of it, or some people just start smoking less.
I've been able to quit smoking whenever the hell like sometimes I'll have to have like this really long internal struggle before I do quit cigarettes of me
Right.
just kind of like
You gotta make up your
convincing
mind.
myself that these are disgusting. I don't like this. I don't know why I'm doing this. Fuck these cigarettes. Fuck these cigarettes. Until I start smoking less and less, and then I just stop. I just stop,
Yeah.
but then I go back to them, and then I stop, and then I go back to them.
That's like low-key a life hack that I learned for myself is like if you want to do something, you gotta try to like convince yourself that you want it. Whereas like for like with the cigarettes,
Yeah.
where you're saying like if you want to quit, you gotta convince yourself that they're disgusting. Like you don't want this shit at all. Whereas like same shit with like other things. Whereas like
I feel like when you're able to deny it, that's when you're in the good path.
Yeah.
Which is like
Yeah.
if someone offers you it and you're like, nah, I'm good, even though you want it so bad,
So bad.
you just say no.
you gotta convince
It's
yourself.
the same thing with
No,
weed,
And that-
right?
Yeah, it
Same
is.
thing with weed for
It
you.
really
I'm
is.
imagining, right?
No, so I went back pretty much to not smoking full time because I don't smoke full time. But now it's not so much like, yeah, I'm smoking all the time or I'm not smoking all the time.
Mhm.
I just smoke whenever I want.
But
to.
weed or
If-
just cigarettes?
If, weed.
Weed,
So it's
okay.
like if I want to smoke, I'll smoke some. If I don't, then I don't.
Yeah.
But it's not something.
Same with alcohol, actually.
With
Alcohol is a big
alcohol,
one.
that was a
That's
real
a hard
issue
one.
with me. Alcohol was a big issue, and it was taking a very quick turn into my relationship, where there were a handful of times where it was like I'd be sitting here, single man.
I remember you'd be like, I'm not touching alcohol anymore.
Yeah, and it's like because I had to like a
Oh, wait,
problem.
that's a good
problem I
maturity.
had to like battle with alcohol. It's like because
It's
I
the
mean
same thing. It's a drug, bro.
to some people maybe they're better off with no alcohol in their life.
Yeah,
Point blank
every
period.
person's different.
Everybody's different. For me, it's like I don't think I'm bad with alcohol. It's just self control.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like
Did it get to a
Back-
point where you were
back-
drinking like 12 or 18 or something?
exactly. It got to the point where it's like I couldn't go out by myself and be like.
Did
"Yeah,
you ever
babe,
feel like you had
yeah."
to drink before you saw your girlfriend all the time? Or-
No, it wasn't even about that. It was just me not having any self control. Like I'd be like, "Hey, babe, so after work, I'm going to the bar." There was one time where I didn't even come home that night because I got so fucking trashed.
Damn.
And then here's
Next
my
morning,
girlfriend
worried
worried
about you.
sick because I'm not texting, I'm not calling. I wake up the next morning like, what the fuck? And that was my thing is self control. I had zero self control.
okay.
I think that's
I get
one
what you
fundamental like life goal that everyone needs to learn is self control.
Self-control. With anything.
That's
With
an
anything.
important. That's an important skill
know?
everyone needs.
No,
to
I feel like it's,
develop.
and if you do like doing something, I feel like it's more like a limit.
Yeah.
Everything has a limit to it.
Yeah.
Like if you really if you really in a situation where you gotta be
gambling.
home and shit, hell yeah.
Just self control or just
Self control is
discipline
like
in general.
just because you
Discipline
you can
in
go
general,
spend
I feel
it
like.
Yeah.
doesn't mean you got to.
You
Because then
see,
you get the habit of like, yo, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back to a point where you're like, shit, bro. What am I gonna eat this week? You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, dude.
you're
because
just like,
you just
fuck,
spent
bro.
you spent all your money on whatever that
and,
addiction.
and then what fucks you
Yeah,
up
it
with
is.
gambling is you can be spending like $300. The person next to you put in $10-15,
and they
and
hit
then
the
they
jackpot.
hit the jackpot or win more than what you just fucking spent.
Yeah.
You're just like, what the fuck?
And then
And then
you
they
get
keep
mad
winning
now
and winning,
because of that.
and then you're like, nah, I'm definitely gonna win now. Like if this man's already got it, someone loaded that shit up. You know, like you're thinking like someone that shit was booked. You know,
Yeah.
so now it's my turn to put. You know, I'm
My
gonna
problem
get
is
this shit.
spending, just in general. Like, not even in the casino. Like, just kind of like, sometimes I like look at the shoes I got. And I'm like,
Yeah, I
fuck, I
feel
don't like
that.
these shoes today. I kind of want a new pair, and
I feel
I'll just
that,
go
man.
and buy them. Or, you know what? Like,
know.
something wants me to go buy a shirt right now. I'm about to go buy a shirt. I'm about to get a haircut too. You know,
I
now that
feel
I got this shirt, I'm gonna get this haircut. And after I got this
Okay.
haircut, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
get all these like nice soap
Yeah, let
products
me
that cost
spoil
like
myself real
$7.
quick.
And
Yeah,
now
I
I'm
feel
gonna.
that, man.
You know, like I'll be spending a whole rack of bread on shit that, like, I mean, in a way, it's kind of good
because the
but,
money's there.
you know. But then it's bad because.
because you see
You see
have
the
more
money in
money.
your
Your money,
account.
you're like, oh shit, I got money.
But then the next
spend."
week I'm broke as a
and then
bitch.
once you
Yeah.
spend all that shit, you're looking at your bank the next morning like,
Dude, I've always been like that.
fuck, bro.
Ever since I was a kid, like
and I'm
the
just
one
like,
thing my mom,
fuck, bro.
the one thing my mom would always say to me whenever I had money, it's like, es que ya te pican las manos para ir a gastarlo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
I
so
hate
true.
it because it's like, yo, like just because I have this money doesn't mean I have to go fucking spend it all.
Exactly though.
And
Facts.
it is a terrible money habit to have.
Bro, that's why I like
That's
having
why-
a
like
separate
honestly,
savings
that's the
account.
one
Yeah, I
thing.
want to mention that.
It'll leave you
That's-
broke
gotta
for the
build
rest of your
that
life,
shit.
bro.
That's
if you're not
legit
careful.
like that.
It
one,
really is.
That's
It
like
really
legit
is.
that one thing where it's like
That's the main thing
that
that will
is
make you
bad.
broke, bro.
Like for sure, no matter how you put it, it's like, oh, live your life.
That's one of the
no,
quickest way
that
to go
is
broke.
fucking bad. If you spend all if you
All your
spend all your
earnings.
money and you don't have any of your bills paid, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
It's like-
you're fucked.
it's
if you're
it's
gonna spend all your money, at least make sure your bills are paid so you're not homeless.
Right?
I was like, oh yeah, I got the new fucking jacket, the new sweater. Your outfit's over here like $1,500, and you're looking all fresh for that party that you wanted to go on that weekend, and then your bills
And
not
then,
paid.
and then the party gets canceled.
Exactly. That's even worse.
I'll tell you on one
Funny
thing.
how that
I'm
shit-
completely okay with eating ramen and shit like that once I am broke. But then once that check hits, a nice filet mignon does not sound bad.
that,
to my
man.
stomach.
I know,
It's
it's
a
like-
red McNon, bro.
I hate that habit.
Yeah,
I hate
yeah,
that
I mean,
habit. 'cause
I mean,
I
it's
do
true
that shit
though.
too. As soon as the check
It's
comes in,
facts.
I treat myself to
You look
nice
good,
ass
'cause
meal.
it's like I work my ass off. I deserve
Right,
that
right.
shit.
That is
I hate that shit. I
Oh,
hate that
and
about
then,
myself.
as long as that's the only thing, though, like, but then once you
It's
start
not,
doing
though.
that,
It's not.
you're just
I
like,
know
I
it's
deserve
not.
this, I deserve that,
Yeah.
you know, I'm about to get all that
You
shit.
start buying a
Look
new
at me
game
looking
that
all
just came
fresh.
out.
Dude,
Some shit.
so true. Like,
And then at the end of the weekend,
That's not maturity
that's
there,
just the weekend,
guys.
it's offending.
Zero maturity.
That's not maturity
the
right
one-
there.
That's what I say. You need to develop.
The one-
That's how it was
discipline.
before.
It's
We're
about
talking about how it
discipline.
was.
the one thing with
That
me,
still
though,
is like
even though
that
I
for
had
me.
that like bad money habit where it's like I spent all my money, it's like I always made sure my bills were paid before I went ahead and just splurged.
You got
Like I would
put
literally
the money on the side. And
like
then
it was
build up.
like it became second nature, muscle memory.
Yeah.
I would make sure my bills were paid so then I could go spend all my money, and then
But that's the healthier
so
way in
then-
a way, I feel like.
so then I wouldn't feel bad and be like, damn.
At least
But
you
it's
had
not
your
good
shit
as
paid.
like at least save.
Yeah,
I
but it's
feel
like, but
I
it's
feel,
bad
that's what
too.
I feel like that's so sometimes
Better to
like,
be a broke nigga in the home than a broke nigga in the streets.
but like I feel like,
Shit, right? At least you broke in your house.
right.
Yeah, man. But it
That's why I feel like sometimes when you have your partner, you got the like, oh shit, you know, you
Hold each
guys-
other accountable.
Exactly. So it's like, so
you
if you're
definitely
like,
do.
you gotta put this away. You know, like,
I wanted to do
Oh.
this though.
I want to
you
buy
right,
this
though.
shit.
You
Oh,
right,
guess I
though.
gotta wait.
Like-
Here, you know, like
Yeah,
type shit,
like,
like
I
mad
had
as
to-
fuck, yo.
I
but
definitely had to take
got it. That's good though.
time to talk to myself and be like, yo, like savings is a priority.
I need to do that shit to
Because
myself
at the end of
though.
the day, like there should be a healthy medium where it's like I'm saving and I'm spending to make
I like
to happiness to keep myself
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
Because just if you're like
Instead of spending on
everybody,
everything.
I mean, to each his own, right? But to me, like I know I wouldn't be happy if I just spent my entire life just saving and I didn't buy myself anything or I didn't go on any.
No, of
trips.
course that's the point of saving.
You
It's
know?
like so you can spend it too.
So
It's
you
like,
can spend it, yeah.
In the
And then,
future.
but like I said, I think there needs to be a happy medium because it's like, okay, go ahead and spend this. Make sure your bills are paid. Go ahead and spend this.
Yeah.
Make sure you put some in savings just in case something
yeah.
goes wrong.
Yeah, because
'Cause
you
you
never
could-
life is
Dude,
unexpected, bro.
you could have a brand new fucking car.
And when your
And
tires
you have
pop
you have
or
no
your engine
savings.
fucks.
Yeah, and your engine just fucks up out of nowhere. You have zero money to get that car fixed. Now, everything from your car not
So
working
now you
is
can't
complete
Unless you have
shit.
insurance, sometimes I'm paying insurance.
Sometimes, yeah. But I'm saying,
There's
like, you
most
know,
people don't have
but
insurance.
then
They're
that
like,
shit
But then
fucks your whole
they don't
thing up.
pay
And
full
then now you
coverage.
can't go to work.
now you can't go to work
Exactly.
or
buy
you
That's
Uber.
affecting your
You
money.
have to go out
income.
your way to do other things, and then
Yeah.
it makes you, in turn, it makes you unhappy, and you're not even happy anymore.
Yeah.
Now you're just
One
stressing.
little
Now
thing,
you're just-
man. One little thing
You're
fucks you
basically
over.
back to square one where you were just like, you were chilling, you were vibing. Now you're back to square one, like, fuck,
Shit
bro.
fucks you. That shit hits
And that,
you
that
hard.
shit hits you mentally, fucks you up, bro. Like sometimes,
Bro.
like sometimes it's like an eye opener. You're like, hold the fuck up, like yo, I was good. What the
Bro.
fuck just happened?
My thing is,
You know?
what I'm trying to figure out for myself is how I'm able to budget, but work, but also live like my best life at the same time. Because at the end of the day, like
Well-
I feel like that, like if y'all like just let me elaborate, I can tell you guys that. By living my best life, I don't mean like going out and just randomly
know.
doing these impulsive things. Yeah, doing these impulsive things. Like I'm just kind of like saying, what was I saying?
Are you
Yeah,
saying
you
like how
interrupt
can you balance like? all
Yeah,
that?
like because, like in a way, you can do all that, and you know you can work and work and work and save and save and save. But then again, yeah, you know what? You're working and you're not even going out, and then you're saving, and then next thing you know, like you said, your engine fucks up, and then there goes all your savings, and then you have to go back to working and working and working and saving again until some other bullshit happens, and then now you got to pay that, and then but then like that's where I'm kind of like getting into like where is it that you can actually like go and
Live
like
life.
do
Look,
something like without having to
you
be
know, but-
stuck at home
but
like yo
look,
because I had to pay
You know what
this
it
now I
is?
gotta be stuck here not I
You know,
can't
you
do
know what
shit.
it is. You know what it is. If you really want to like say be in that situation, is you just gotta cut off more of your spending habits.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's
Like
I say
you want that filet mignon, but like if you can't this week, then you can't this week.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't forever.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I would say have two.
Exactly.
Millennials Yells are gonna be there forever.
I would say
Exactly.
have two different.
Unless there's
savings
a
accounts.
shortage, then maybe start freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's just more like being more self-aware on that aspect of like, I gotta stop spending this much money because all right, I'm doing this. I can go one day without doing it,
Yeah.
one weekend at least, right? Be at home, just chilling. You have the shit at home to be comfortable, so why can't you be comfortable just being there? In some aspects, sometimes you want to go out and shit. It's all good,
Yeah.
but like,
for sure.
just keep it short. Don't make the bill too high. Whatever you were spending it, cut it in half.
Yeah.
No one's telling you not to spend it,
Nah,
but just
for sure.
cut it in half because then later on it'll be much easier for you to keep going like that. But then if you keep going, you gotta keep going, spending less and less and less, and then you're back at the point where you're like, fuck, you're gonna check again, and then that's where you gotta acknowledge what you're doing wrong at that aspect.
But then again, it's also a lot harder with the inflation of the prices and
That's a whole
everything too.
another
yeah,
topic.
yeah,
Yeah.
We'll be back at that. Though.
Yeah, you know
But
what?
I
We'll
was
be
gonna-
back though. We're gonna
but
go
I
on
was
a
gonna say
break.
before we break.
That's
I
a
was
good
gonna
one.
say,
Is
I would
that
suggest doing two savings accounts, right? Where you have, like you have your regular checking account, right? That's like where you do like your
and
regular
savings and
spending
then
shit.
life savings.
And then you got like your savings for emergencies, and then you got like your savings so you can like treat yourself, like save up, you want to get yourself like, go spending, shopping, get yourself some nice
Oh,
like,
that's
nice
not
outfit.
bad. It's not
You know,
bad.
save-
Like
save
depositing
up.
like 50 right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
then like
save up for
100,
that.
100 on the savings, 50 on the like spending,
Yeah.
and then you do your regular shit, and then do it again,
Yeah.
build it up.
Yeah, checking
After
is,
a
like,
year,
for
you're
everyday
good.
purchases,
I'm just saying
right?
50 is short,
Yeah.
but like who knows?
So you have
Maybe
to for your
$200
everyday
whatever.
purchases, like gas and shit, your food
Well, y'all ever seen the picture of the people with a
we
bunch
got-
of like
yo,
envelopes and shit that say like, "Oh, this is for bills, this is for this, and this is for that, and this is
Yeah.
for," you know what I'm saying?
just do that, but like on a
we
do
about
that
we
shit
about to
too.
come back though.
online, yeah.
Talk about this inflation.
Yeah.
Peace. Be back.
Alright, we're back from the break.
What's good? What's good? We're back. What's going on?
I think it's safe to say we all did a little bit of maturing just in that break.
right. Just during that little break, we had a conversation that got a little deep, but we did a lot of maturing just in that brief moment.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, we're still
Learning.
riding out the journey.
You're still growing throughout your whole life. You're always growing, man.
At the end of the day, it's all a process.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel like you've matured it throughout the past few years?
This shit's off nuts.
For me personally, like I said, it's just getting different perspectives.
Yeah,
Nah,
trying to see.
That's
things.
literally the only
differently.
aspect really in my life where I have matured is just getting different perspectives. And one thing that I've got, which sometimes it's not good, as I've grown up, I think logically now. To a T, where it's not good. Where it's like when I think logically, and it goes back to me not knowing when I'm wrong. Because I think so logically now, I think that I'm thinking so logically that I'm always right.
But
I
that's me.
legit, because I'm like, are you not hearing what you're saying right now? Like, I'm right, you're wrong. Like, and I'll do this big speech and be like, blah 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 blah, and then it's like, and then as soon as I started getting self-aware of what I was saying, it's like, dude,
Wait.
you're wrong, dude, and it's like, fuck, I am wrong, and with me thinking logically, because I think so simple. Like, I try to make things seem so black and white when they're not always just black and white. And that's part of me trying to logically think about a certain situation where it's like, it's not always going to be black and white. There's different perspectives, and and with those different perspectives, you will be wrong, and you have to accept it.
Yeah.
As much as you don't want to accept it, you have to accept it. And that's like an internal battle with yourself where it's like, fuck, I just hate to be wrong. But it's like, you have to accept that you're going to be wrong sometimes. And it's not
Yeah,
bad.
for sure.
It's not bad at all. You just have to take it as it is and just keep on trucking, learn from those mistakes, and keep on moving, and just do better, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I mean, quote of the
That's good,
day
though. Like,
from Jonas: "Do better."
Do better.
Do better.
I fuck with that. What about you,
Dude,
Aurelio?
what?
What about you? How do you feel like you matured in the past couple of
We
years?
were answering a question. I forgot.
I mean, I really agree with what John says. Is basically like learn from your mistakes and get better. And I don't know. I learned to acknowledge the same thing, like
Yeah.
when you're wrong.
I just think that's
'Cause,
like
like, basically
I
what
feel
it
like
is.
that's a big topic in everybody's life. Is,
That's what it really
is
is. It's like,
accepting that you can be wrong sometimes.
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
really,
for
that's
sure.
really what it is. It's
Everyone's
like
so caught
accepting
up in their
what you're
own
wrong.
perspective. I feel like.
Yeah,
And it's like they forget to see.
know your surroundings, which in the end is just like be more like self-aware of like what you're
for sure,
doing.
for sure. And I feel like it has something to do with like the technology where we have so much access to like information where we think that like because we have all this access to information it's like, oh, I'm right. It's like I just Googled it.
Yeah.
So I'm
He
right.
said,
I
I'm
just
right.
Googled
You
it.
feel
I'm
like-
right. Look, Google says I'm right. But it's like just an article that doesn't actually say you're right. It's just
And
like
it's an
An article
article
from
and
1992.
it's an article.
Yeah.
And it's
Is it
and
someone
the
with the
articles
same
from
opinion as yours?
Wikipedia.
Yeah, exactly. But in your mind, you're like, I have all this information. I'm right. I'm like,
Right?
Wikipedia said
Exactly.
I'm right, so I'm right.
you're- exactly.
Or being stubborn to like acknowledge your mistake, and that's what people get on. Like, I feel like if you can't acknowledge your own mistake and just you're not really moving anywhere. It's like if your life is in a treadmill.
Yeah.
You're just going as fast as you can, as long as you can, but you're not getting anywhere because you refuse to accept your mistakes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes those mistakes can be a big like obstacle in life that was slowing you down, and you refuse to accept it and take it and challenge it.
Yeah.
So when you pass that shit, this was better. You know,
Yeah.
but people have the fear because it's just such a hard obstacle sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes I
You know?
feel like I've noticed in my life, and I've noticed some people saying it, you know, for themselves too. Where it's like sometimes you know what the answer is, you just don't want to accept it.
Yeah,
So sometimes you know what
It's
you
hard.
have to do.
it's
You're
hard.
just like, I just don't want to do that
You,
though.
you gotta put your pride.
Yeah.
You gotta put your
And-
pride
Yeah.
aside, bro.
That's what sucks, man.
It is.
Because it's like sometimes it's like subconscious. Like you don't even, like you know you have to do it, but you're just burying it so deep in your mind.
You're
It's
just
like
like, nah.
in your subconscious at that point. It's
I
like
can do it.
you try to forget what you need to do, but you know what you need to do.
I'd
feel
be
like-
fucked up because I'd be waking up at like 4 a.m. just thinking all these things and feeling I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. I'm just there like, this is going wrong and this is going wrong and this
Nah,
is
for
going
sure.
wrong and I don't know what I'm gonna do here and which corner am I gonna take over there and how am I gonna go through here, and it's kind of just
It's like,
But you-
life.
like sometimes
like-
it feels immense.
But you know what help? You know what helps getting through those moments, at least for me personally.
asking questions.
That too. But I was gonna say, just realizing like you've made it so far. Like you're
Yeah.
here now. Like you've gone through these types of struggles before,
And then-
and you've made it so far.
For
You're
sure.
gonna get through.
And that's
Like,
good.
You know, like a week from now, you're still gonna be chilling. You're still gonna be kicking it. You know, you're still gonna be all right. At least for the most part, as long as you keep working and shit. So
I
it's
think
like-
part of maturing is realizing that those anxieties are just going to be there, and you just
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
like
You just have to, like,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
just
have to
gotta work
accept
through it.
them.
Yes.
Like, you know what? Like you said, we've been here before. We can get through this again. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. You
It
just gotta-
wasn't harder. Any like
It wasn't.
if
any
it was
easier.
hard last time, why is it going to be any harder this
Basically,
time?
it's
And
not
that-
gonna get any
yeah.
easier.
And that's
Yeah.
what I mean when I say like it's good to like learn how to identify your anxiety, because that's when you realize like if you start like thinking like, oh, I can't do this shit, you gotta realize like that's when you identify this. Like, oh, this is just my anxiety talking. Like you don't gotta listen to these thoughts because this is like, you know you got this. It's just your anxiety talking. So you gotta learn how to identify those thoughts.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. That's
Yeah.
what maturing is, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
just realizing that shit's always just gonna be there.
Yeah,
you
be like,
know?
okay,
Just
this is
kinda like-
anxiety. Don't listen to that.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, just ignore that shit. So,
There's so many books about it too, but we really just don't even read them or check them out. Like,
yeah.
there's so many really good books that talk about like how to control that and how to deal with that.
What do you guys like? This is something I also had to like kind of like work with in myself, but like, how do you guys feel about like your image? Like, did you guys always
so much?
like? Did you guys care about that? Like, you know, like the clothes you wear, the shoes you buy.
Bro, I used to care so much in middle school. You know, I was thinking about this
Not
the other
really.
day. In middle school, I used to want everyone to like me. I used to go down the hallways just high fiving random people. Just I was just like, "Yo, what's up? High five!" It's just like a complete strange. Sometimes they look at me weird, be like, "What the fuck?" Like, yo, I'm just trying to be chill. Bro, I tried so hard to make everyone like me. I cared so much about this shit, and now, like, I've been realizing, like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's like, as long as I'm getting my shit done and doing my shit. But man, like, I used to care so much. I was
real
like, I need to
ones will
get
stay.
everyone to like me. So I need to get the whole school to like me. I try to get like even the quiet, like nerdy kids. I'd be like, yo, what's up? Like, I just need to get everyone to
It's
like me.
crazy because as an adult, that shit sometimes still lingers in you, you know. And me personally, I'm going to admit that I had to delete my Facebook. I had to delete my Facebook because it's just there was just kind of like this thing, like, you know, like you be checking the likes and shit, you be checking things, and then you be feeling like, oh, this person feels a certain way about me, and this person thinks this about me, and this person does this, and in real life they really don't give a fuck, you know. It's just all in your head, but you know, like, I don't know, there was, in a way, like, there's a part of me that's like, okay, you know, I got my life to live, I got to, you know, do what I got to do. I got to fucking feel happy the way that I should want to feel happy as a person, you know, not because fucking this person is doing this or because that person is because, you know, you just look at shit and then you start to compare, you know, you start to compare like, oh, like this person is out in fucking Beijing with their nice ass fucking Nikes and their nice ass Versace watch, and you know what I'm saying? You're just kind of like, damn, like, and then I'm here kind of just working like a dog and, you know, fucking doing.
You're comparing yourself to someone
Yeah,
who's
Yeah.
you don't know their life. They might have had like rich parents. So it's like they already have like an upper hand in life.
Yeah.
It's like they
exactly.
were able to invest their money because they were taken care of by their parents or some shit. So you don't know their whole life. So it's like you can't be trying to compare yourself to them because you don't know if you had the same life as them.
So I feel like
Yes.
I feel like something a little bit controversial to that what you said, where it's like you shouldn't compare. I feel like it can be bad for you.
You can take it as inspiration.
And that's what I was gonna say. It's like, and it could also be kind of good for you. Like, for example, maybe you saw that guy with the, you know, the nice Nikes and a Versace watch in fucking Beijing, and you instead of maybe and maybe look at it from a different perspective, where it's like, instead of you saying, "Damn, I wish that could be me," you take it as, "Damn, can be me one day, and I should work."
Nah, for sure.
To get
for
there.
sure.
For real.
To wear
Exactly.
those nice ass Nikes.
Yeah, not for
to
sure.
get that Versace watch and go to Beijing. You know, it's like for me, I've definitely been, and I think it's like, you know, like, I do buy nice shoes. You know, I mean, I got Yeezys on right now, where I like it. Like, that's what
Everyone
I
has
like.
their
But
own
that's
thing. Yeah.
that's what I've worked towards. Like, back in high school, I definitely wasn't buying myself any kind of like retro Jordans, but before, like, I was into it, and I got when I could, because my mom definitely wasn't buying me, and you know, to whatever reason it was, right? Whether she had money or wasn't, or there were other important things.
Instead of buying, Hispanic parents don't give a fuck about shoes.
Yeah, they just don't
They're
care.
like, yo, your old ones still work.
Yeah, right,
so
exactly.
It's like, it is what it is.
They don't
but
have holes.
That's something that I had to like. It's like, that's something I had to have and let go. Like, I like looking nice.
Yeah.
And I like posting pictures. The one thing that I did stop caring about is when I post like on IG, because I'm definitely, I think between the four of us, I definitely post the most, like, on my IG, on posting pictures.
I want to change that.
And the difference now than before, and I can admit this, I cared about the likes. Even when I was posting on Facebook a lot, I did care about those likes. And now I'm posting them because I think I look nice in those pictures. And I like that picture. And now I'm posting it. Yes, so other people can look at it and be like, damn, maybe he does look nice. But now what I stopped doing is caring about the amount of likes I got.
You know, I like looking at like Instagram as like pretty much like a modern day photo album, because that's pretty much what it is.
That's
like
what
you're
it
just
is.
saving it for yourself,
And some people
so you
like,
can look back at it like in a few years.
yeah, some people do, because others, when you post a picture to IG, whether it's edited or not, it goes right back into your like photo album sometimes. So it's
Yeah.
like you post, you'll have two of the same picture because one you took on your phone.
Yeah,
and
look,
the
you
other
find that
one-
shit annoying, but yeah.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
I gotta be honest, high key, like I'm gonna admit something. Like I had to kind of just be honest with myself, and there was like a part of me that was very attention seeking,
I feel that.
and I know people know that I was attention seeking, and it's hard to admit it, you know, but I have to like erase that image. You
Nah,
know,
I feel that.
I feel like I have to erase that image, and I have to like kind of like go through like this kind of like thing where I just like, you know, try to like really just find myself and, you know,
Nah,
figure out
yeah.
where it is that I really want to go and how I can get there and the things that I can really achieve, because you know, sometimes you got to realize the potential that you got as a
For
person.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
You know, so we got all these people that live their lives just as regular people, but they're not exploiting the potentials that they got.
No, you know what I think about, speaking like on that topic. I think about that a lot. Is like, I think about like, and I don't mean to say this like that I think I'm great or anything, but like I think about like what you're keeping from the world, like by not trying to see what you can do. Like think about it this way, like whatever your favorite artist is, like, you know, singer or whatever, Eminem, right? Think about if he was too shy, he gave into his anxiety and he never became a rapper. It's like none of us would have heard of him, and he's inspired so many people to like come out of their shells and like do all, you know, whatever. And it's just like that's just one artist. Like, speaking of like every artist, it's like you got to think about like how you could actually help, you know, society, because you know.
There's a lot of people hurting. So
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of artists inspire a lot of other people. You know, you can actually like
Yeah.
help. You know, some people are like depressed and they listen to your music and it helps them. You know,
They
with
get
their
through
with
life.
their depression.
That's what there's a lot of
So
people.
you
that
got
are
to think
crying
about it that way. It's like, how can I do this shit in a way that's like not about me?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how can I help? You know, give back, I guess. To
You know, so do you guys have TikTok?
nah.
Yeah.
Do you have TikTok?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
You have,
have a
but you
TikTok.
probably don't get on it right
Yeah.
as much. Okay, so I have TikTok and I fucking get on that all the time. And I just watch random videos. Like I'll spend you know my free time on there whenever I can. And there's a particular TikTok that I wanted to talk about where it's Jason. Wow. Was Jason is no Jaden Smith. Jaden Smith
Oh,
is on a podcast and he's talking about how when he was growing up, and he said it was just a clip of this one thing that he said, and he said that, like, what did he say? He pretty much was like, yeah, you know, whenever I'd hang out with people in my own age group, all they would talk about it's like this and that, and it's like I want to talk about the social economy in the status of the world.
yeah.
People took that clip and started clowning him, like, yo, he's so corny
Man,
for
nah.
saying that. And it's like, my thing, and this goes again back to perspective, it's like I feel like some people choose not to see other perspectives. Like, they took that clip and ran with it and just called Jaden Smith corny, and I took an extra 3 minutes scrolling down the comments just to see what people were commenting also,
Yeah.
because people can stitch videos on TikTok and like talk about that one TikTok on their own TikTok.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the comments and it was like, wow, he's so corny. Like, oh yeah, I want to talk about the social economy of the world. like you're a fucking kid, or it's like, oh, this is because he feels like he has privilege because he grew up rich, and it's like the fact that people are choosing to look at it in a corny way.
People are so negative too.
It upsets me, and it kind of it really did. Like I had to break out a TikTok because I felt so hurt for him, and it's like I had to take a 5-minute break. I was like, why do I care so much? And the reason why I cared so much is because people chose to look at it in a negative way. It's like, what's so bad about him being a kid caring about economics?
Basically,
what is so bad about that?
I feel that
you don't have freedom of speech.
And then
Like,
they
he switches
I wanted to know
limited.
about that.
and he makes
No, because I feel like he has freedom of speech, but like in a way, like he gotta watch what he says because society's gonna flip it.
because he's
he's so bad
he's
with
a celebrity.
Exactly. No, he can say that, but if he feels like, I feel like he's gonna feel like he can't or watch what he says because the media is that. That's only if he cares.
Yeah, that's on him.
But like, I feel like it's fucked up that the fucking social media even does that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like
manipulates
to me, it was making me angry because people were saying that it was corny, and it was like I just couldn't see it that way. I was like, why are they saying that's corny? It's like, why was he so concerned about the economics? At such a young age. And to me, it's like, one thing that he's done, and this is one thing that I've known that he's done. I don't know if he's done anything else, but you know how there's like the bad water in Flint, Michigan. Like they don't have clean water to drink or anything. He provided a filtration system in Flint, Michigan. I think he has one or two machines of those in Flint, Michigan. And somebody said it in the comments where it's like, like he actually did do something about an issue.
Yeah.
And then somebody else commented. It was like, well, why doesn't he put it in his music? It's like. Why does he have?
I was trying to hate.
Like that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And I think that's what was making me so angry. It's like he just gave you a positive about this kid,
he just turned into
and then
negative.
you just turned it into a negative, bringing something else. It's like, can the man not just make the kind of music he wants to make and then do separate?
It's kind of like these like things that I see like with these Tupac posts, like, oh, Tupac is like the greatest, and then Lil Wayne is trash, and this and that, and I'm like, and in a way, I'm not bashing Tupac. I love Tupac. Tupac is the greatest in my eyes, like when it comes to rap. But the problem is, I'm not about to hate on Lil Wayne for being Lil Wayne.
He said they could both be good.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I didn't like about that post, where it's like, why are people clowning him for caring about and it wasn't like at that time he was like saying how as a kid he grew up with, and people were saying, oh well, it's because he was Will Smith's kid and he had all this money, he didn't it's like he's just privileged, and it's like you're choosing it. Like, what's so bad about a kid caring about the economic state of the world?
That sucks, because I feel like I've been in that position where it's like I want to talk about because I'm not good at small talk, to be honest. Like, so I always want to talk about like some deeper topics because like people aren't into that shit sometimes. So they just look down on you. They're like, "What the fuck?
And,
this
and
weird
listen,
what is this man talking about?"
And
I'll be honest.
Talk
to me about this deep shit.
I'm guilty of not wanting
to listen to this,
and I'm guilty of not wanting to talk about something deep sometimes.
Now I feel that you don't always want to be.
Yeah, not always.
But there's like,
I'm not like, let's say you and me were at a party, right? And you're over here. We're at a party. We're drinking. We're smoking. And you start talking about how homelessness is something catastrophic and we should do something about it. I'm not about to. I'd probably take you and be like, "Yo, can we talk about this?"
No, I'm not even talking about like that kind of deep shit. Like.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, keeping like causes out of it. I'm talking about like sometimes talking about like personal shit. You talking about like what are your goals in life or some shit. I don't know. It's like some crazy shit or like introspective shit. I don't know, because I've always liked thinking, maybe a little bit too much. I feel like I overthink sometimes, but I don't know. I feel like I'll be thinking like some crazy concepts in my mind, and it's like sometimes I struggle to like even put them into words, because it's just like I don't even know like how to explain what I'm thinking sometimes. But yeah, I feel like sometimes I try to like explain shit to people, and they're just like, they don't like how deep it's getting. And I feel like it makes them uncomfortable sometimes. Because I was like, this one time I was talking to someone about like, because there's this one video that I watched, and it got me like thinking about like they were saying something about like who are you? Like what is you? Right? Like so it's like they're saying like what's your favorite color? And then like suppose like you're supposed to answer, right? And then the video says like did you choose to have that favorite color, or is it just like subconsciously like that's just your favorite color?
Yeah.
And it's like what type of music do you like to listen to? It's like did you choose to enjoy that kind of music, or did you just enjoy it?
Yeah.
And it's like at what point it's like what are you, like what choices are, like what is you, like where do you begin, and like where does your subconscious begin?
Oh, I see. Like, are you doing things because you're choosing to do?
Yeah,
them,
it's like sometimes the choices you make is like because you've been programmed like
I think I know
with your
what you're talking about.
experiences.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes like I get into like these type of deep topics sometimes.
Is
It's
there no
like
more?
people don't like talking about these topics usually. Like at least like normal people. I feel like that's why I feel like I never really made a lot of friends because I never knew how to like small talk. I always dove into like deepest
Deep
shit.
conversation.
They're like, yo, chill out. Like I'm not trying to
Yeah.
have that deep talk. Like, they be trying to talk about sports and shit. I never watched sports or anything like that.
Feel it.
But that's something you probably took into perspective, where it's like
Later
maybe
on.
somebody when they go into a party, they're not looking.
Yeah,
To have a
exactly.
deep
They really
conversation.
don't want to have those conversations at a
it's like
party.
they're
You're just trying to chill.
trying to have fun and chill. Yeah, so I mean that's something that you probably learn about yourself as you
Yeah,
grow
that's
up.
why I would just sit in the back.
See,
of
the
the party.
thing is about men are supposed to be basic creatures. You know, we're supposed to just function off.
Well, I don't know about
we're
that.
just no, you know, we're supposed to just function off. You know, living and working and doing what the hell. You know, like back then, what did men do? You
Well,
know,
I
like
feel like everyone has their own roles.
what were men really supposed to be doing? Like from jump.
Nah, I feel that. I feel
You know,
everyone,
it's supposed to be
has their own.
hunting. And,
Yeah, everyone has their own roles though, because I feel like philosophers have brought us a long way. Like as far as philosophy goes, like we like you learn a lot about like how the universe works and like how how to.
they thought, but they acted upon their thoughts most of the time. You know.
What do you mean?
Like when that's why we know these philosophers, because they would everything that they were thinking most of the time they were jotting it down into these books
Yeah.
that made these books that you're talking about, you know.
So, go ahead.
Since you are a person that thinks like that, one question I want to ask you directly is, what's your opinion when you see videos like where it's like, where it's like, like I guess rap videos or logos where it's just like it's the Illuminati, people wake up, stop being a sheep. What's your thought on the videos like that?
It depends. Some videos I feel like they have some true shit in there, but some of them are corny as fuck. So
Yeah.
it really depends, like which ones you're watching.
My whole thing on that is that with those videos, like sometimes where it's like where people, it's like, they're putting it in the songs we listen to, like wake up people. It's like, what is the thing is like, these people make those videos and they make
Well,
make it
self-messages.
awareness,
Yeah.
whether it's the Illuminati or Freemasons, whatever, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but they put it out there as awareness and they tell people to wake up, and it's like,
Yeah.
the thing is like with those people, what's something that I've noticed that they don't ever do, it's like, okay, wake up, but what's the end game here? What's the end game to you showing this awareness? Like at the end of the day, we are
What is it
still,
going to cost?
yeah, like what
Well, yeah.
because at the end of the day, we're still people and we still have to live our lives, and we're still gonna die. So what do you mean? To me, that's something that I've always thought about, where it's like, what do you mean by wake up? Like, what's the end game here? Okay, I woke up. I'm choosing not to do this. Now what?
Well,
You know what
it
I mean?
goes, Well, it goes. This goes a little bit into like government corruption, I guess, because the whole idea behind like the Illuminati is like total control, right, of the world. So I guess if you're saying like, yeah, technically if you're gonna die, I guess like if you don't mind being enslaved while you're alive, then it's like, yeah, sure, I'll just be enslaved and then I'll die, move on to the next life. But it's like if you don't want to be enslaved, then I feel like that's the purpose of waking up. It's like,
And again, I'm hearing what you're saying, but to me it still doesn't make sense. Like, what is the purpose of waking up? Like, at the end of the day, you still do have to live your life, and you still have bills to pay, and you still have to live your life. So
That's
it's
what
like
being a man is.
that's what confuses me. Or it's like you just said, it's like either you live
I
your
feel
whole
like-
life being enslaved and then you die. But
I
it's
feel
like,
like I feel like
I feel like
with the
you're
waking
woke.
up. Go ahead.
I feel like you're woke, so you're more certain on what to spend to invest. So that
Yeah.
you be out of that situation.
That's low-key what I was gonna say. I feel like
Where-
the waking up part is like is like tied with like being enlightened.
okay.
And like being, I feel like you become
Being
wiser.
enlightened,
You
okay,
become
yeah.
wiser.
I-
As, like,
And
Yes.
again, I get that. I get what you're saying, and it makes 100% sense to me, right? Being aware of the things, but at the end, the thing is that my thing is that at the end of the day, we will really never really know. Like we legit will never really know.
No, we
You
won't.
know? And that's honestly, and that's a scary aspect because
Well,
what
ahead.
if these same people that are trying to show awareness, air quotes, show awareness, are the same ones maybe gearing you towards something else to even further enslave you?
or that I feel like that depends on your own intuition at the end of the day. Because most of the time, I feel like you can generally realize it yourself. Because like you're fighting against being enslaved. So it's like generally you can I guess be like they're on the good side because they don't want us to be enslaved.
I get it, yeah.
But fuck, what was I gonna say? Fuck, I forgot.
Well, while you think about that, I do want to say a lot of the times we actually do know who's running a lot of the shit. We just
Choose to.
choose to be blinded by it.
Yeah.
You know how many TikToks I be seeing of like
Like, look
people
the other way.
boosting up Jeff Bezos and
Yeah.
Elon Musk? I'm like, bro, these people don't give a fuck about you, bro. You know what I'm saying? They don't, like, you're here, like, they got these people working like dogs
Yeah.
to make this guy go up to space
Yeah.
and like try to like cringely flirt with chicks and like when he gets back, you know what I'm saying? Like
Nah,
I
for
don't know.
sure.
There was like this weird video of him like popping this bottle,
But-
like trying to
yeah.
be all like cool and this and
I
that. And
remember
people
what I
are
was
like,
gonna say. Sorry, go ahead.
nah, but no, what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we a lot of the times we know who's there, you know,
Yeah,
who's up
yeah,
there.
for
We
sure.
just be blind to this shit.
Especially if you pay attention to like
I'm saying?
the previous episode that we had about like black market, whereas like if you pay attention to the corruption, so you definitely know those are bad guys.
Yeah.
So you definitely don't want to go on their side. So I feel like that's a big I guess identifier. But also I was gonna say I feel like it depends if how much you believe in like the afterlife and like what you believe about the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if you want to tie that like waking up is that could be like your key into like a positive like heaven, I guess, like a positive afterlife versus staying asleep and then you end up being a sheep that ends up going to hell.
Yeah.
So it really depends like if you're gonna keep going along with like this control because most of the time like if you want to believe in the Illuminati and like what they're doing are like controlling people, then I feel like most of the time that ends up leading you to committing sin. So that's going to lead you going to hell. Whereas like if you wake up and you realize you got to go against this, that's where you're able to
Yeah.
end up making yourself go to heaven.
What was the question again that you asked me?
Just like what's the end game to
Like
showing
waking up.
awareness? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like to waking
to
up
wake
to, like,
people.
And what was
yeah.
the end game then?
So it depends. Like if you believe in the afterlife, then that's your way to getting into heaven.
I get it.
But also, if you don't believe in the afterlife, that's your way of living a happier life.
Yeah, and I think that's where it gets a little controversial because it's like, what, like, is the person that is
What do you choose to believe?
or maybe they're choosing not to believe in like the monster logo. Like the monster
Yeah.
logo is a very famous one where it's the claws of some
Yeah.
demon, right? It's like, what's so like the thing is like this is what sucks. It's
Well,
like because if we're tying into heaven and hell, right? The purpose of everything of being good is so you can get into heaven. And something my brother told me one time, it's like he doesn't know where he stands with religion or what to believe in. He's very open
I've been
about
there.
that. And one thing he told me that very much resonated, because I believe in God, but at the end of the day, but I hope there is a heaven, and I do hope I go to it, but we will never know, right? Until our last breath.
Yeah.
But something that he resonated with me that really made me kind of not question everything, but just question religion, is he told me one time, we were just having a simple conversation. He told me one time, he was like, the thing why I can't get behind religion is because people say, oh, be good to get into heaven. It's like, why do you, like, you're pretty much saying that the only reason why I'm good is to get into heaven. Why can't you just be good?
He might be
good.
He might be listening to Alan Watts, because Loki, that's where I've heard it. I've heard that theory where it's like that whole,
and you guys met him already. He's very much like, he seems like, so you might have watched that.
So basically, it's like the idea is like behind religion, where it's like we're taught that we have to be good so that we can get into heaven. But it's like if you're doing that your whole life, it's like you're just being selfish about it. You're only doing that for your own good.
Exactly.
Like, you're not doing it to be good anymore at that point. You're doing it for your own good so you can be into heaven.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then another thing where it's an inner battle with me, where it's just like, I don't really know what to do with the information that gets brought up to me, or the information I stumble upon, where it's like, what's so wrong with, like, why should somebody be condemned to go to hell to choose, like, not basically choosing, you know, to not know about those things? Because it's like, what if there's just your regular Joe Schmo, right? He sees these videos where it's like, oh, don't consume this, don't listen to this music, because it's the devil, like, wake up, people, it's the government trying to control you. Like, what if he's just trying to live a happy life? Why should he be condemned?
Like, he doesn't know about religion?
Yeah, why should he be condemned to a bad afterlife just because he just wants to be happy?
Actually, it's funny, because what I was about to say kind of ties both of your questions together, which is what I was going to make earlier, the connection, which is that it doesn't necessarily have to be connected to the afterlife, although, you know, it can be. Which is like, if you live like this life, like this religious life, like, because I noticed when I learned about the 7 deadly sins, where it's like, if you commit one of the 7 deadly sins, right, like pride, sloth, I think, lust. I don't remember all of them, but the point is, just committing any one of those sins leads to the corruption of your soul, right? Mm-hmm. And then that ends up leading you to commit other sins. Like, for example, if you're like
kind of like a gateway drug.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a gateway sin, pretty much. So it's like if you're like lustful, like that ends up leading you to like doing like slutty, like, you know, being prideful, slutty shit, or being prideful ends up, you know, you end up being jealous or some shit, and you end up causing problems. Yeah. Envy. The point is, it leads you to do worse shit. So it's like, whether you're religious or not, it's a useful idea to like follow, to like go against that, because that's gonna make you live a more miserable life. You know, even if you don't believe in the 7 deadly sins, so, you know, still committing them, it's like, you know, that's gonna make you live a miserable life.
Everybody commits sins all the time. You know, people go to church and go to do all this shit, and then they still have sex before they get married, and they still do this, and they still treat their kids like shit, and they still do all these things. And I mean, I'm just kind of trying to say is, you know, I think that in my own personal life, I've just took it to kind of just live in how I just need to live for the moment that I need to live it. If I need to do something for this moment that I got to do it, you know, I'm going to do it. You know, I can't, like, when it comes to that whole Illuminati shit that you were talking about, you know, I'm not going to be worried that the damn, like, if I'm in need of a truck, you know, and I want to buy a truck, I'm not going to worry about the fact that the damn Ram I'm about to buy looks like a vagina, you know, I mean, and it's like all sorts of things.
But like I said, some of them are ridiculous. Some of them are not real. You know what I'm
saying? But like, I'm just trying to say, like, there's certain things to life that, you know, you know, people say it's not right, and people say it's not this, but at the end of the day, like, who are you to really tell me that that's wrong?
For sure, some of those are ridiculous, but tying it back to like what I was saying about like his question, which was I was gonna say, like, fuck, I forgot. Damn it. Shit. Give me a second.
But you know what I'm saying, right? With
I
with
get
the
it.
stuff, though.
Yeah.
Kind of just
You know what you're saying?
gotta.
Oh, but like we were saying about like the Alan Watts shit, where it's like, why be good? Just be
Huh?
just. Oh, what?
No.
What?
I was saying, why be good just to like why be good just to get to heaven?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I feel like you would want to be good if you look at it with the way I was looking. If you look at religion the way like I was just saying, where it's like you look at it as a way of life that will make you happy, and it's like make yourself want to live that way because it will make you happy, and it's just like make yourself desire it. You know, like I was saying, where it's like, don't follow the 7 deadly sins because you know that's going to corrupt your soul and that's going to lead you to do bad things. And that's going to lead you to being miserable. It's like follow, you know, try to follow like religious, you know, path. Not because you want, you know, to go into heaven, but because you know it's going to make you happy and it's like, it's what you want to do.
Okay.
So you kind of have to look at it with that perspective.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, but I just think like we live in a world where
It's harder for that.
so many people have opinions now,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a lot of people that feel very strongly about their opinions, where they're not even.
But do you know what the problem is? Is the fact that before there was no social media.
Yeah,
Now that there's social media,
Everyone feels
Anybody-
important.
everybody feels
feels
important.
like I got something to shit to say, and then someone goes likes your shit. You're like, ooh, you feel like empowered. So the more
Yeah.
likes you got, you're
Yeah.
like, I have an
Like,
opinion, bitches.
Like
you
one
know,
of the
you know,
real
I matter.
controversial things was with Kanye West and that Donda album, and like the listening parties he was throwing, or like the mini concerts or whatever. Like one of like I've seen a video where he was having one and he had his childhood house with a cross at the top, but it was all black and there was water all around, and they were just like, I guess people all in all blacks just circling the house. Just
What the fuck?
the entire time the song was playing, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, and the
It's a little weird.
like all the and listen, don't get me wrong, that shit is weird. It looks weird, but it's unfortunately until Kanye West tells us what he meant by that, we will never know.
We don't know. We could just speculate.
It could because something could look bad or look sketchy or look demonic, and then it's not.
We never know.
And
We can't
we'll never
say.
know.
We can't say for sure.
And
We
then,
can make
you know,
speculations.
and like
but
I
that's
said,
it.
like you said, that with social media comes opinions, and people feel, you know, with the more attention somebody's opinion gets, the bigger
People think
the
it's real. People think it's true.
The people
it's
think
like
it's true.
it's like a snowball. It builds up and up.
Exactly, like a snowball effect keeps building.
One
up,
thing you
building
were
up,
saying
building
though
up.
before about that really caught my attention was the fact that like you said before, they didn't have social media, and I think that before it was more like you could feel more important because you were living your life to the fullest
You had to earn
extent.
it. You had to earn it.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like back then, like they used to start off at their like somebody got like a Pizza Hut job, and then they worked there for a long ass time until they got promoted to something, and then
Yeah.
that eventually led to something. But they always like kind of like knew that there was like a process they had to go to.
Yeah.
Now I guess the difference is with things, people expect to like just get to like this certain place without even having to do all the things that
People want shortcuts.
are required
People
to.
want
Yeah.
Because there's so many outlets for those shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're willing to throw themselves and their pride away.
It's because
for
of
that.
technology.
Yeah.
We're like, we've gotten
It's
used
so
to like
easy
getting
and
shit
accessible.
instantly.
Yeah.
So we want
Instant
shortcuts in life now.
gratification.
Hell
Yeah, so we
yeah.
want shortcuts in life.
If we're
now.
hungry, all we got to do is look at the app,
Yeah,
make
people-
a few
people
orders,
throw-
and then we
people
get
throw
the
out
food at our
bones
door.
and shit, and you're like, oh, I want that bone. You
Yeah,
know, it's like-
exactly.
Grocery,
But,
you know, or show up at the door now. You know?
Unfortunately, though, we do have to.
which is fucked.
Which sucks at this point, but we do have to be also grateful for social media.
No, for
So,
sure. There,
you know,
there's
some
pros and cons.
aspects- Yeah.
I mean, for right now, like podcasts are a thing that everybody's starting, and
Yeah, for sure.
whether
We
it's-
wouldn't exist without
whether
this podcast.
whether
wouldn't exist
whether
without
there's
it.
whether
Facts.
somebody's doing it for money or somebody's. The thing is, there's no bad reason why somebody starts a podcast, right? But it became something so big that now everybody does want to start a podcast, and I don't think it's necessarily bad. I mean, it's whatever. If your podcast takes off, it takes off, and good for you.
Good.
I don't think it's bad to have so many different podcasts. If anything, now
Everybody has
podcasts.
an
opinion. No.
If anything, now podcasts is just another source of media.
I feel like
that-
that's a good thing.
that people like
Yeah.
to digest, just like
Yeah.
music. Because some
you
people
don't have options.
Yeah, because some people actually don't. Which is crazy to me because I am an avid music listener. I listen to music
Same.
24/7, and that is not even an exaggeration.
You know,
But-
listening to it right now.
Because I'm working. It's like,
I'm working right now, Rogelio. No, but like, it's another because there's people out there that don't listen to music, and instead of listening to music, they listen to podcasts.
yeah.
And radio was the original podcast, but
Yeah.
with radio, you got what was there.
You
Yeah.
got what was
Yeah.
streaming.
You just got what was there, and now since there's so
Kind
many
of like
di-
Mama's cooking.
Exactly. But now with podcasts, there's so many different podcasts that there is a podcast for everything.
Yeah, everyone
Where
can find a podcast.
Everybody
for them.
can find a podcast for what they want to like.
Yeah.
Like
That's a good thing. Having choices, having options. is
it's-
Options.
To me, it's not bad. It's like if anything, it's cool.
I mean, it helps you develop
Yeah, and
more,
it's- And I think it's awesome where it's just like, hey, if I have time on my hand and I want to use it,
And that-
let me
yeah.
start a podcast and have fun with it.
Yeah, and
which is what
that kind
we
of
do
goes
now.
back to what I was saying, where it's like you gotta look at like what you can provide. It's like
Exactly.
you gotta provide another option for people. Sometimes, hey, you never know. Someone might be interested in hearing our opinions.
But you know how
You
long
never
it'll
know.
take some people just because of the thought, like, oh, there's so many people doing podcasts. How is
I don't
mine
wanna
going
start-
to be
yeah.
different?
Yeah, but you never-
how
you
is
never-
this gonna happen?
You never
And,
know how you might inspire someone. You might help someone who's going through depression.
Some
just
people
by
can't see
talking
it at
about
the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying right
Yeah,
now.
some
Like to
people
anyone
can't
who's
see it.
listening to see it that way now. So whatever it is you want to do, it's like
to
know,
our one subscriber out
right?
there.
Yo, do what you're inspired.
Shout out
do
to
your-
you.
Follow
Yeah,
your
for
aspirations
real.
to
You're
our
the
one
one that
follower.
does
It's like,
No, but it's just
Fuck what anybody says.
but it's
Do you?
It's awesome, man. Like even though
Do better.
All
even though
day.
social media has done some sort of corruption, it has
Yeah.
done good.
yeah,
And
for sure.
like one side of kind of like with something bad that I think to a certain extent though that I think social media has done is with news. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. That's just out of control.
and honestly, I don't. You know how they say it's like, oh, kids aren't even playing in the street anymore because of technology. I honestly don't think it's because of technology. I think it might be because of the parents that are
They're too scared.
too scared to let
Yeah,
them.
'cause of
Dude,
the
I
news.
remember being 12, 11 years old, walking around my neighborhood, walking to other neighborhoods,
right?
and obviously my mom was always making sure I was fine, but she felt comfortable with me going out.
Yeah, 'cause you-
and
you'll
playing
be
with my
straight,
friends
yeah.
and walking to other places.
That's why you were at the park. When we
Dude,
became
and
friends.
how we met.
And then
Exactly. That's how we met. shit.
and with that, it's like I feel like maybe it is a little bit because of technology, and then maybe it's also because the parents feel so worried about what's going to happen out there because there's so much news out there
Well, yeah,
where it's like, they hear about something happening somewhere else in the country, and it's like, oh my god, this could happen.
But the
Yeah.
news has always
yeah.
existed.
It's like this one.
You know?
I don't remember where I heard it, but someone was saying like a big problem with today's society is that back then we didn't have a 24-hour news cycle where it's like 24 hours we're always getting constantly new news. Like it could be 2 a.m, some new news can break on Twitter and everyone's talking about it, everyone's panicking.
Or a
Right.
clip.
like that shit can come out
They
at
got the
any moment.
notification on that shit. Like,
Dude,
oh my
I'm
god,
telling
what?
you.
Yeah.
And then they want to be the first one
Bro,
to
like,
share that
like,
shit.
like when we were talking about we were filming a podcast like
Crazy.
at 10 p.m. and we got the news about fucking Will Smith slapping Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I was like, that shit was going like at 10.
was going
Literally,
like,
as
at
soon,
10.
as soon as it happened, we literally got notified like instantly, and we're
It was like back then.
what the
Back
fuck?
then, that we would have not known about that until like the next day when it was on the news.
Exactly.
And that brings me to the point of like, I feel like maybe in that aspect, social media has ruined,
Yeah,
kids being out to go out because parents back in the day before IG or Facebook or Twitter, because parents now, like it's normal for parents to have a Facebook now.
Yeah.
It is not unorthodox at
my mom
all.
just opened one.
It's so weird, but it's not unorthodox anymore.
Yeah.
To parents having social media, and in social media you see news and things that are
Yeah.
happening all around the world. Where back then, the only way you got news is if you tuned in to that channel
Yeah.
at a certain time, And
They
that
don't
was-
have to be looking for
and
it
that
anymore.
was the only news you got.
The funny thing is, my
know?
mom be believing everything that she be reading on
Facts.
the
They
news.
be
She's like,
believing all the
she called me
Facebook
once. She's
posts.
like, "Hey, Diego, you know Jackie Chan died." I'm like, "Mom,
That's bullshit.
that's a hoax, Mom."
That's
She's like,
What's
"No,
a
he
hoax?
died."
It lies
She's
to
like,
you.
"It says it right here."
That's
I'm
funny.
like, "On what?" And she's like, "On KYW.com." I'm like, "Mom, that's not even a real news site."
The fucking Babylon Bee. It's like,
And that's why
That's
I think, in that aspect, social media has ruined it. But like
Yeah.
where I live, I see kids playing around all over the place.
it's not as serious
That's
as we
good,
think it
man.
is. Like, if
Yeah.
you just watch the news the whole time.
Yeah, it's
Facts.
and I just feel like
Yeah.
it brings fear into people
Nah, for sure.
now.
I think that's a good place to wrap up, though.
Yeah.
So,
All right, guys. It was
Take care.
nice. Y'all have a good one. This is Ego with Theory and Jonas and Rojas.